Hello, Ramsey Burt here. This video that I'm making is about dancing in solidarity. It started as a panel contribution that I made at a conference during the summer, and what I presented there itself came from something that I wrote a few years ago about my first experience of taking a class in African contemporary dance. École des Sables, Senegal, Monday, 20th March 2017, Patrick Akonyi's class. This gave me my first experience of dancing with African drummers. It started in silence with slow centering, focusing on breathing, then, after a while, a little contraction in the stomach on the out-breath, all very internally focused. Then a slow, simple patting the ground with alternate feet. We were told to feel the vibration of the stamp reverberate in our spine. Simple steps, simple patterns, gently accelerating. Then the drums started. At first I couldn't find the rhythm of what I was doing with my feet within the drumming. I've never had a professional dance training, and as a 64-year-old, as I was then, hadn't been going to any classes for over a decade. I decided that the only way to understand Patrick's class was to go in and try, or rather somebody suggested that to me. I watched the feet of the dancers in front of me and found myself back with the drums, listening to them for changes that signalled a variation in the movement. Patrick was silently and elegantly introducing new movements, new stepping patterns, adding arms, building in complexity. He was gently guiding the growing intensity, the dancers and the drummers going faster and faster. There were great shouts and cheers coming from the dancers, around and behind me. Dancers showing the drummers their appreciation. Then one of the dancers from the back was dancing along in front of my row, face to face with the dancers at my side, feeling our energy as we felt his. All of this entwined with the energy of the drummers. Sensing I'd reached my limit, I decided it was probably a good moment to drop out, find my water bottle, and watch the rest of the class. As my heart and lungs subsided in the glow from my exertions, I reflected on the experience. It had been one of release, of letting go, becoming intensely involved within this group of dancers and drummers, in front and behind me, all focused on the same things as me, all in process of becoming intensely together. Here had been one old white Englishman who spoke a little French, a party of dance students from Amsterdam who spoke Dutch and English, and Senegalese dancers who spoke Wolof, a few knowing a little bit of French. We'd been dancing together without having any common verbal language. The events of dancing with these drummers was one of an increasing intensity. It would be a mistake to assume we were all sharing the same feelings, but the common experience triggered strong affects and generated a kind of solidarity that was what Sara Ahmed calls, quote, a way of facing the world which includes facing what we might not recognise with others we do not know, unquote. It was not like singing in a choir where one listens in order to tune in with the other singers. Being in tune with one another would be an inappropriate metaphor here, one that assumes Northern European aesthetic priorities. What brought us together was an unauthorized, underground aesthetic, feeling the feeling of a common response to qualities that were illicit according to the Western canon. From a point of view that values harmony and melody, the drumming might seem dull and repetitive as its low, almost inaudible frequencies literally vibrated through our bodies. This nevertheless brought us together in a physical solidarity that, on a political level, had the potential to challenge dominant power relations. It is the opposite of the selfish, competitive individualism of the neoliberal order. The idea that people will only do things that are in their own self-interest, and that any connection with others, any sort of solidarity, is in some ways letting yourself down. The physical act of assembling in solidarity, as Judith Butler puts it, is itself a political act. Quote, "When bodies assemble on the street, in the square, or in other forms of public space, including virtual ones, they are exercising a plural and performative right to appear, one that asserts and instates the body in the midst of the political field." Instating our bodies in the artistic field was not only a challenge to the hegemonic aesthetic values, but to the power relations to which they correspond. While I was feeling the feeling of solidarity against the canon, I couldn't assume that, following Ahmed, my struggles were the same struggles as the other dancers in Patrick's class, that my pain was the same pain, or that my hope was for the same future. But I was part of a group where polyrhythmic reverberations decolonized as they disrupted Western hegemonic values. The kind of solidarity we call being an ally is one that entails connecting with people whose backgrounds and experiences are different from one's own, around particular aspirations around a just world. My example of Patrick's class shows that a sense of solidarity can become immanent on an aesthetic level without the support of a common verbal language, developing instead through collective physical expression. The creative nature of such solidarity should give us hope for the potential to discover new kinds of democracy. Thank you for watching. And if you're interested in more about Patrick's approach to pedagogy, there is this book, Contemporary African Dance, Deconstructed, in which Patrick talks about his experience for many years teaching in Africa and also in Europe. Thanks.